school, this is a great way to get your kids' attention. Bum, ba-da-dum, bum, 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 and that's their response. So I did it with Dave's 7th graders, and they loved it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it would be great. All right. Yeah. Mac and cheese, everybody freeze.
Yes.
All right, and we're back to Jen Vandersmith.
So, speaking of which, you will fully appreciate seeing your 7th graders back in the day when they were 5th graders with Emily Grangs. As promised in the teaser about the video, we want to start to bring back some authentic in the classroom work to start to see how all of this is in action when you put it together in the classroom. So how will I differentiate my instruction for various proficiency levels in my classroom? And what supports and teaching moves can I plan to include in my instruction? So we're finally bridging the two things, the what, and now how does this look in a classroom? Because our anticipation for any good professional development is how do you take this and now start to put it into practice? So in just a moment, we're going to take a look at this video of your now 7th graders. So notice, as you're watching, the instructional moves that Grangs is making based on the backwards plan process that we've all been partaking in. Also be thinking about the supports and or teaching moves used to differentiate instruction. We're going to get really explicit with the moves that she's making, so be watching and be ready to share some of your thinking.
Look at Daniela. Cute guys, she's so cute. Isaac C is at this table as well. Hey, here we go.
Criteria. First, we read the problem and circle important information.
I like the best.
Next, we
Thanks.
draw a model that helps you solve and visualize. Third, we write and solve an equation and write an answer statement. There's going to be an equation and a sentence. And finally, we explain our work using sequencing language. So for this first problem, I'm going to do it myself. You can put your pencils down and just watch me. Molly ordered a pizza for her holiday party. I'm reading right now, listening for important information. Her friend Joseph ate 1/4 of the pizza, and Molly ate 1/3 of the pizza. How much pizza did they eat all together? So I think to myself as I read, what's important? What can I circle? Let's go over quickly what to circle. Hector, give me one thing. 1/4. Mari, give me another one. All together. Give me something else that's important. Naomi. 1/3. And let's underline the question. What's the question, Tamia? How much pizza did they eat all together?
Jen Vandersmith or Ms. Corvo, please come to the main office.
First,
Thank you.
I draw a fraction model because I need to show 1/4 and 1/3 on my add-ins. So I'm going to draw 1/4, shade and label it.
Never mind. Thank you.
Then horizontally, so that I'm ready for my next step, I'm going to draw 1/3. Pretend this is a square pizza. And I will label 1/3. Next, I merge and multiply because I need to make common denominators. So I'm going to use a different color so you can see that I multiply 4ths times 3rds.
content target.
I did. I read the problem, I drew my models to visualize, I wrote an equation and an answer statement, and I earned a sequencing language. Are you ready to try one?
I know.
Thumbs up? All right. You have this problem of
We'll show a little bit more, but just take a moment at your tables to quickly think about those questions about the instructional moves you see Emily making based on the backwards plan process, and how is she using those teaching moves to support the type of differentiated instruction we're doing today. Just talk at your tables for just about 2 minutes, and then we'll come back to watch the rest.
She had the process listed out too, so she was able to kind of walk through and talk through each of those steps. She modeled it too.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
Yep. She had the modeling, and then she kept referring to it the whole time that she was modeling it.
And then came back to anchor charts and things to help ground the kids in the math part of it. She was working on the language part.
I was like, it's a Promethean board.
That's what I
And
was
that couldn't have been that long ago. 19. That's what the date says.
Yeah,
on it.
right.
Yeah.
It's right before it
Because-
all went to hell.
Which has nothing to do with like her moves, but I was like, wow, that's a Promethean. And now I have a million flip charts that I'll never use again.
Right, true.
invest in those.
True.
So much time I invested in all those flip charts that I will never use
I know, the
again.
flip charts were a little hard to see like that. It's like a grieving moment for my flip charts.
No, I thought
what
the
we were
flip
just
charts
saying,
were
the number
fine,
of
but I made
hours.
so many so that I could keep them and just adjust them each year. And then one year they were like, oh, you know, those are going out. The district isn't buying anymore. Dang it, I guess I'll never use
Yep,
them.
let's come back, please.
Okay, to the end of the video. It's actually the worst to hear my own voice.
explain. What did I do first? First, I blamed because blank. Thomas, first I drew a model because I needed to visualize 1/6 and 2/3. So first I drew, shaded, and labeled fraction models because I needed to model 1/6 and 2/3. Next I blanked because blank. Let me whisper it over.
Is that Isaac?
Yeah, that's Isaac.
Oh, it is. Oh, it is. Yeah. Look at There's no Isaac. So engaged. Right. He still wore the jacket. Pulled the jacket up.
He's sleeping.
Next guy, Andrea.
Who's that?
Andrea.
Chewing gum. He's chewing gum.
I needed to find a common denominator. Then I blanked to blank. Tiva, then I blanked to blank.
Was that Sativa? Oh, wow.
Okay, to find 15/18, which is what George mode and what still needed to be mode. So let's see, then I added my new fractions, 3/18 and 12/18 to show the part that George mode and the part that still.
In case you're confused, the video snipped to the net. This is the new content question.
Was he like?
So this is like, they did this one on their own.
Which Brandon? He's PRC. Yeah.
Brianna was in first grade. Because Eva is
Okay, thumbs up. Finally, I blank in order to blank. show what fraction of the yard is some of them. Finally, I knew that 18 minus 15 18ths in order to find the part of the yard that's some of them. Did I R-E-W-E? Tap your wing. You are. Hey, the next one you are on your own. Flip your paper to the back.
All right, that is it.
Very good, very good. One more opportunity to turn to someone at your table and discuss those same questions about the instructional moves and supports that you're seeing, and then we'll get ready to share out together. So turn to your partner, finish your conversation about these two questions, and then we'll come back together to share out.
Yeah. Yeah.
The school response.
Was that because of last time? Well, that big thing.
Classic Grangs.
Let me pee.
So, what would you name that strategy?
Metacognition! Nailed it, nailed it.
It was like,
I love it.
wait.
It's pretty good. It's true. Let's come back together. 3, 2, 1, and 0. Let's get someone for each table to just quickly notice a name, some explicit moves. Let's start with this table here. What was something that you noticed?
Pardon the interruption. Kristen, can you please call me on extension 20637? Thank you.
Well, from her teaching video, we all talked about how we loved that her success criteria was up where they could see it while she was having her metacognition. And then as she did that, she pointed to the support that constantly is up in her classroom with the anchor chart. And you can see that when it's their turn to take on the heavy lifting, they're able to mimic her behavior, look at that anchor chart, and use that language.
I love that. You explained it really well too, Becky. Beautiful. How about someone from this table? What were you noticing?
We talked a little bit about the anchor chart too. Is there anything special you guys want to pull out of that? We talked about the math
Just
language.
that we noticed she had the mortar and bricks. And like they showed the visual supports, and I liked her.
Metacognition. Absolutely. How about from this table?
I noticed that during like that kind of partner talk time, I don't know if this is what it's called, but I felt like stamping your answer, or like you went and listened to a kid that maybe like wouldn't efficiently answer if they're just raising hands, but you had the chance to kind of like stamp the answer with them, and they're able to demonstrate that successfully. We noticed that, so this is not technically about the language, but it is about like teaching the kids like where to get their resources to do the language, right? This is like another like, teachable moment, because they were like kind of looking and tracking and like looking at each other, and they all knew where to go for the information to like put the pieces together. So I just think it's important to be like, yeah, here's the pieces, but like you have to, if you want to put the puzzle together, you have to collect them. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah.
The cohesion of all those pieces, that's a really great observation. We, each table really noticed something that was important. We tried to put a summary of some ideas together of the instructional moves and supports. Ironically, it's Boston's best. When you're following Boston's best for that instruction, you really are capturing a lot of these that are good for all students. But just to stamp it, she had the content and language targets, which we did see, but that she referenced to and that she already explained that she had. The success criteria, which Sarah Ledecky mentioned, had that visual cues. It also had the functional language of that sequencing, that gradual release. that we heard you talk about, where she had that explicit modeling of the frames. She didn't just put the frames up there, she modeled them and gave an opportunity for students to use them. And then I heard it over here about the mortar and the bricks, that academic vocabulary, those visual supports that she did with the color coding, which I heard you talk about. This table mentioned it the first time about the metacognition. She did a lot of that TPR, which Karen was alluding to, and Kim. And then that idea of that Boston's Best, that first best instruction that Kayla and the team had rolled out. And so it's just, this is a kind of a quick way to remember we are doing this work, but making it explicit, making it in the forefront of your consciousness when you're planning. So with that in mind, we have a printout of that, and we want to give you a little bit more time to finish the work that you were doing with your planning, and also to give you an opportunity to take these exemplars and sentence frames that you were working on earlier and start to add in instructional moves and supports that you would want to do, and give you an opportunity to jot these ideas in your planning, and to give you an opportunity to work independently or with a thought partner you were working with before. Any questions about what we're doing now? Then let's give you guys some work time, and we'll pass around the summary of those.
And we'll take you back to the spa.